episode of the Casa podcast. Now, I'm very lucky to have Jacob from Strength Club join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Where are we, mate? What is this place?
Alright, so we're at my workplace and my gym, Strength Club Perth, located on 408 Scarborough Beach Road, Osborne Park.
Seems to be a bit going on in there today.
It is loud today, man. Things are happening.
And things getting dropped.
Yeah, things are happening. There's always something happening. It's a zoo.
Oh man, I come here myself and I can hands down say I'm probably your worst athlete. Would you agree with that? Top three at least. Top three. Top three. Well, once every 3 weeks.
That's an award at the Christmas party, right?
Yeah. Look, I will win best drinker though if that's going to.
100%.
Now look, I just basically here today. I want to know what is your workplace, man. What is Strength Club? This is your home. This is your baby. U&D, obviously, started from the ground up.
Yep. So Strength Club is a strength and powerlifting gym. So we mainly focus on coaching. So we coach people to be stronger, healthier. If they wish to compete in the sport of powerlifting, that's also what we specialize in. We are 24/7, so people do have the option to come whenever they want. But our main product is something called Club Hours. So Club Hours is where certain times during the day, we have a coach on the gym floor to help you. So you come in, as Marco knows, does his own program, floats around, and if he needs a hand, he can come grab us and we can show him how to do things and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our big point of difference is when we created Strength Club, we had the idea of like, you know, everyone gets a gym membership and they go to like Revo or Snap and they kind of just like put their headphones in and kind of just like sit in the corner.
It's
and
very
don't know
generic, like you just,
you're
there and it's you by yourself.
Correct, you're just a number, in their DD database and they get paid. But when we wanted to change that, so when people come here, they really felt welcome, they feel a part of the community and they really feel like they're getting helped.
100%,
That's the main thing.
Coming in, obviously, you know me, I don't like going to the gym for those reasons. You go there, headset on, whatever, someone's on a machine, you can't be bothered asking them to use it, so you just go home because like you just kind of get stuck in that rut of
it becomes
not motivating. Yeah, and that's why a lot of people like going to the gym with a gym partner, but what it seems you've created is a place where people feel comfortable to come in, an environment where everyone who walks through that door says good morning to you.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. There's no egos as such.
Yeah, and that's a culture thing too.
For sure.
You're definitely going to get the rowdy ones, for sure. I mean, you've played soccer for how many years?
Yeah,
since you could walk?
Too many.
So the way I like to think of SC is it's kind of like a sporting club. Where you come in, you're kind of coming in to hang out with your friends, but still do your own program and stuff.
Yeah, and you can tell because people don't rush out the door when they finish. Like,
people don't
stay here for ages. Yeah, you're literally kicking them out at the end of the day.
People are here longer than I am. So, and that's what I wanted it to feel like. I wanted to feel like it's kind of like that team environment. So, like, you know, one for all for one. Yeah.
I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. That was inspiring.
You're gonna get tattooed across your chest?
Nah, so where does it start for you? Like, you finish school and you just decide, I'm starting a powerlifting gym? Is that,
100%. Yeah. What was that, 17, dripping wet? What did I weigh, 65 kilos?
Yeah, well, you probably needed to start.
I probably needed to go to the gym. Finished high school. The standard parent thing, go do engineering, go figure it out.
Is that through uni?
Yeah, so started that, hated it, bailed out of that. And then I transferred my degree over to nutrition. And when I did that, at the time, Dee was actually qualified as a PT, so she had just done her first bodybuilding show. And she was qualified as a PT and she started working at Fitness First in Aloo, just down the road here, which is now Good Life. And I was like, man, I don't like this. I don't want to do engineering. So I transferred.
It's not for everyone, is it?
Nah, it's not. And it's like, I wanted to do something I enjoyed. I don't know, I was pretty stubborn in the fact that I'm not going to do something unless I actually enjoy doing it. So decided to do nutrition. While I was studying nutrition, I went and did night classes to get my certs to be a PT. So I was studying at TAFE and at uni and working like 30 hours a week at the same time.
And living off 2-minute noodles or something like that.
I actually was prepping for my first bodybuilding show while this was happening. And I don't know how I did it now. I'm looking at it, like...
I still live off 2-minute noodles, and they are good, but yeah, it's not sustainable. That amount of study combined.
Do you know what it was? Wheat Bix, bro. Wheat Bix is the key.
Bit of sugar, bit of honey.
Bit of sugar, yeah. And then, then went, studied nutrition. Obviously, I started working as a PT. This is in 2013.
So you went fitness first as well?
Fitness first as well. And then it got brought out by Good Life, so we just transferred there. And then I moved my nutrition degree to sports science because I didn't want to be a dietitian. Nutrition kind of leads to that. And I wanted to be, working with athletes and doing that kind of thing.
You want to be part of a team at the end of the day. You don't want to just...
Yeah. I wanted to start create something like that. And I was enjoying PT more and more. So went studied sports science with Josh actually at the time and a few of the boys. And that was so much fun. Like, sports science was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. So I was doing this degree that I really enjoyed, and I was working full-time as a coach. So I had then started having thoughts on opening a gym, but I was obviously like 21 or something at the time, and no idea.
You go to bed at night and you have those things in the back of your head that you're like, one day I'm going to do this. But I guess starting out as a PT at Good Life, essentially no client base to start with.
Correct.
Is that weird going in there when you've got other PTs who have been there for years?
Yeah.
And you're starting from scratch and you're just like, look, where do you even?
It was nuts, man. Like me and D were lucky we had a mentor, Ryan. So Ryan did give us like a lot of what we knew then to get us set up and how to build a book, how to deliver programs well and sessions well. But it was cutthroat, man. Like, it was killer. At the time that we got into the industry, the mining boom was happening.
Yeah, right.
So you had a lot of people with expendable income, and that was good, but they wanted to spend that income where they knew they were going to get the guaranteed result.
Yeah,
so as a young couple, early 20s, walking around the gym floor trying to, I guess, convince 30-plus-year-olds to let go of their money, it was interesting. But we got a few clients that were really good to us, and they did the process, got the results, and from there, to us, a lot of it that got built was on referral.
Yeah, it's like one of these, as soon as you get one, you usually get two. You get two, you get four.
100%.
Same thing, obviously, barbering in that, like you're an apprentice.
The best,
call someone through, you want to come through, they just look at you like, nah,
yeah,
man.
And it's the best lead you could get. The best lead you could get is a referral, because it's a guaranteed lead. 100%. And the best thing that me and did was we knew how to do the process. We knew how to get people results.
Yeah. Obviously, it helps that you had Ryan, like mentor as well. Getting someone to teach you the right way from the start makes a big difference. Yeah,
it was funny. I was on a podcast a couple of days ago with another coach who's actually left the industry now, and he runs his podcast. And he was saying that he had a very similar start to myself, but he didn't have a mentor.
Yeah.
And he was in and out of the industry within 2 years. And I think a lot of that came down to probably not having the right information and maybe a little bit of that hustle mindset. Like, me and D didn't have a plan B as such. We wanted to make that work.
Yeah, that's regardless of what was going to happen, you're going to go for that.
Yeah. So then I'd obviously done a few bodybuilding shows, and then I went and watched a powerlifting meet. And this was like 2015, and I just loved it, man. I think it was because I was studying sports science at the time, and I really geeked on like strength and conditioning. And so seeing powerlifting was like this sport, but it was individuals, but everyone cheers like they're on a team. It's this weird niche-y thing, and I was like, hang on, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna compete in this and do it. So I started doing it. Then I started coaching people in it. Had great success, and then we went to nationals in 2018. It was the first time I took a team over to nationals.
Is this with you? Like, you're still coaching Good Life at this point?
Yeah, I'm still at Good Life at this point, which would be in 5 years at that point.
Yeah.
Went over to nationals. That was an insane experience. I had so much fun traveling and coaching. And I got on the plane to come back, and I remember I spoke to Dee before I got on the plane. I was like, we're opening a gym. Yeah. Like, we're opening a powerlifting gym. This is what we're going to do. And got back, and she was like, okay. Like, she was working at Department of Child Protection at that time, so she wasn't actually PTing. And we had pretty much set up this game plan where we were going to get her back out of Department of Child Protection, get her back to coaching, and save up the money and open up Strength Club. So that's where the dream started. And,
that's when the ball started rolling, Now, obviously, for the first-time listeners and people who don't know what powerlifting is, can you just break down like what is the actual difference between powerlifting compared to your bodybuildings, the other CrossFit, all that kind of thing. Like, what is powerlifting? What does Strength Club just specialise in?
Yeah, so powerlifting is, most people would have watched the Olympics and would know what weightlifting is. So weightlifting is what you see when you watch the Olympics and they're throwing the bars above their head, which is the easiest way for me to describe it, I guess.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I think powerlifting, you just think, well, what you see on TV. You don't see a whole lot of powerlifting unless obviously you go looking for it. Yeah,
in Australia, powerlifting is growing. Like we just had nationals and it was 400 people. So
is that a big increase compared to what you had like that first show you went?
Oh yeah, so 2018, I actually only looked at the numbers the other day. 2018 they had 130.
Yeah, okay.
2019 they had 190. COVID happened, so we didn't have nationals for 2 years. And then this one they had 400. So it's doubled in 3 years pretty much.
Do you think COVID contributed to people getting into the sport? Like a lot of people are obviously looking for new things to do.
I think so.
Because you started your business essentially during COVID.
Yes,
which was
I
risky,
think so.
But
yeah,
it's one of those things, like it worked for some people, it didn't for others.
Yeah, it was like, I think COVID allowed people to reflect on what maybe they were doing with their health and fitness and their gym memberships and their goals and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
And for a long time, the things only people had was a barbell or plates, right? So if you were and you could get something, you probably just had a bar and plates. Well, then you can do powerlifting. So powerlifting is where you do the standard kind of gym movements that you would see. So the squat with the bar on your back, up and down. The bench press with a pause, so you got to pause in your chest and press it back up. And then a deadlift, whether that's a conventional deadlift or a sumo deadlift. So those are the power lifts. And the way powerlifting works is you get 3 attempts on each lift. So you'd start with squat, you do your first opener, we call it. And then you do another 2 attempts where you ideally up the weight. And that gives you a score. So you get, the kilos is your score. So if you lift 200 kilos, you're on 200 kilos so far. You then move on to bench press. Let's say you're benching 100 as your opener. And then you go 100, 105, 110. They add, let's say you get the 110, that counts. They add the 110 to the 200. And now you're on a 310 subtotal.
Right. So it's total score altogether.
The total of the best of the 3, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so the total score at the end is your best squat, your best bench, and your best deadlift added together.
Right. And have you also noticed that, obviously, the changes between now and that first comp you did in 2018, was it?
Yeah.
Is the knowledge of the sport amongst coaches changing as well? Like, is what you were being coached at the time, is that something completely different now? Do you look back and go, geez, what I was doing was way unsafe?
I'd ruin that guy now.
Yeah. This guy's in a wheelchair.
this guy's finished, man.
Some guys just rolling down Scar Beach.
Yeah, legit, bro.
Because what I was being taught to teach was wrong, or is it just like one of those things that there's so many different ways to do it, you just got to kind of, like, the way you coach it's the way you coach it, and that's it type thing?
This is deep. So, let me know if I lose you on this.
Yeah,
this is deep.
Probably will. But
it's okay. That's alright, then we can go backtrack further. Powerlifting has evolved. So, powerlifting used to be what we call equipped. And equipped is where you would wear the wraps around your knee and you wear a suit that compresses you in. And that's where you might have seen a lot of powerlifting in the early 2000s or earlier.
So you had to wear that suit?
You had to wear it. There was no option. This was the only option to do the powerlifts. Now, those suits were expensive. They were very hard to get on. It's not a true representative of strength because the suit helps you a lot.
It's like the super suit that you're in swimming, like
correct.
It's full assistance.
100%, yeah. And
I'm still with you.
Yeah, and then it's like putting like NOS in a race car.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what the suit is. But they didn't have anything outside of that for a long time. So the people it would generally attract were quote unquote super heavyweight men. So you'll see in the sport from then, there were still women and lighter weight men, but predominantly the sport was dominated by super heavyweight men.
Were those suits like what you see Mark Henry wear on the wrestling?
Correct, 100%, yeah. So you'd see like the really, like, they look like they're compressing him in, right?
Yeah.
So the suits used to give you a lot, and that was the sport up until about 2010. And what happened in 2010 was CrossFit blew up. And because CrossFit blew up, for those that don't know, CrossFit, you use a lot of like calisthenics and a lot of barbell work.
So high rep,
high volume. Now, you don't use a lot of equipment in CrossFit. So it's very minimal. You might use a belt and you might use what we call knee sleeves, which is just a sleeve going over your knee. But there was minimal equipment. And because that took off, powerlifting introduced the category raw or classic.
Sounds kind of exciting.
Yeah, so raw, yeah, like literally it was like
going in raw.
Monday Night Raw, like WWE. But it was that introduction made the barrier to get into powerlifting lower, right? Because you didn't need all this fancy equipment.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't even need to wear equipment. You could just do classic and get the best you could. So it opened it up a lot.
Through the roof.
It almost commercialized it a lot more.
Yeah.
So from that point, powerlifting kind of flipped on its head, where we started seeing a lot more lightweight women involved and a lot more lightweight men and a lot more diversification of the weight classes.
Yeah.
So when I went to nationals in 2018, you have to think of it that area of powerlifting, the way to train for that is still in its infancy, right? It's only had maybe 6 or 7 years of people actually trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
So the information we had was very fresh, and unfortunately a lot of the information came off training in Equipped.
It's what was right at the time.
It was right at the time. So a lot of programming was, hey, what works for this super heavyweight man, that'll work for this lightweight female. And that just wasn't the case.
Snap.
So in 2018, that's probably where now in 2022, where we're about over a decade into Raw, we're seeing a lot smarter programming because the demographics we now have and we train. So there's a lot more better data and information out there.
Yeah, even like just in general, everyday life, obviously working as a barber, the amount of people I have come through now that not just with powerlifting, but go to a specialist gym rather than going to, you know, your everyday Fitness First, your Revo, whatever. Like people just seem to be wanting to specialize in that area. Obviously, surround yourself with people who have the same mindset and enjoy the same things, and the results you see, as you know, as you coach, pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's 100%, and I think that's something that COVID did as well. Where I was like, you know, people were like, oh, well, if I want to be good at powerlifting, I'll join a powerlifting gym. Why am I still at Revo?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Did you have, like, obviously, you would have had a lot of people at other gyms coming to you for coaching, still at these general gyms and not having the resources there to get the results they want? Yeah,
so what changed it big time and was in 2019, we actually had a lot of athletes qualify for Worlds. Obviously, Worlds never came into fruition because of COVID. But it was getting to that point in 2019 where I was like, hang on, I can't really train people for a world championship in a commercial gym.
Yeah.
It's just going to catch up to me. And we were planning on traveling a lot. So when that had got taken away from us, we were like, well, let's set up the business and let's move forward on that. And then we can travel after when things have calmed down.
Yeah. So obviously you leave Fitness First and come straight here, which you've been here for 18 months now?
18 months now. So yeah, it was a bit of an in between. So I left Good Life and I started working at Rev Barbell Club, which was in Balcatta, which is a small weightlifting gym.
Okay.
And that's owned by a friend of mine. The reason I did that was to learn how to run small gyms because I never worked in one. So I didn't really want to walk into it guesstimating what to do.
Did D come across there with you as well?
Nah, D stayed at Good Life. And then we had to open Strength Club from there. So it was good because it was a kind of like that means to an end where once again I was mentored on how to, you know, things are going off out there. I was mentored on how to actually make a small gym work.
How scary was that for you to go from, you know, you've got your guaranteed wage every week, you've got your savings, whatever, to throwing it all into essentially a warehouse full of equipment and just going like, we just got to make it work now?
A lot of sleepless nights.
Yeah.
It was definitely a weird period where you can hear Danny going.
He's happy with that one?
He was happy. It's good. He must have found his legs. It was a weird period where you're anxious but excited.
Yeah.
It was strange.
Do you feel like, obviously because you and D have gone through the whole process together, both of you coming in sort of all in together, do you think that pushed you guys to get it to the point it is now? Like, having both of you have no other option, like, this has to work? There's no backup plan, like, besides obviously going back to PT somewhere else, but you're both going all in on something, so...
This was make or break. And I think me and Dee both realised that we were going to be doing a lot of unpaid hours, first of all, and we knew that it was a means to an end. So it was weird because I'd spoken to a lot of friends that had opened gyms or small businesses and stuff, and they say the first year is the hardest, and then you just figure it out. And I was like, yeah, okay, like that kind of makes sense, like sure. Anyway, we did the first year, and I literally like a month later felt like a weight had lifted off my shoulders. Yeah. I don't even know why. It was like, we know what works, we know what doesn't work, we know where we need to put our time into. We're getting more time back now. Obviously, we've hired a lot more staff now, so it's getting a bit easier. So it's good, and now it's getting better every month.
Yeah, and now that you got the other boys on to help you, girls.
Yeah. We are looking at getting a female coach in the new year. So we've got Danny, Cam, and Callan. So it's a bit of a male-dominated area at the moment, but
Dee holds her own, man.
Dee holds her own, bro. Dee is the actual boss.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Like Dee runs the show here. All hands down to her. She does. So we will definitely bring on another female coach in the new year.
Yep.
And it'll be good because I mean, you've seen the gym, man. Our gym is full of strong girls.
100%.
Like, I haven't done the maths on it, but I'd argue that we've got more women than men in this gym.
I've been waiting for you to do a girls versus boys comp, and just
the girls will win.
The
girls will win.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, you're right, because obviously, is it Nat?
Nat's So
your
we
superstar.
Nat is going to be one of the best ever. So Nat. We've got a lot of girls actually. We've got a lot of girls that are very high up. Nat has qualified to go to Worlds in Malta in June. For those that don't know, Natalie Lalai is at NatBubs on Instagram.
Full shout out.
Full shout out, man. She's she's awesome, man. She is actually, how many months is she? She would be, I think, 18 months postpartum from having a kid. So when we went to nationals, the current biggest deadlift ever by a woman in the IPF is 261.5. Now, yeah, it's huge. Now Nat has pulled 262.5 in the gym, and
you've seen it, eh?
We've seen it. It's wild. It's a good video at NatBubs. Go look at it. But we were like, all right, if we're gonna go, it's gonna be unofficial at nationals. You can't break a world record there. So
why is that?
You need the requisite referees, and it has to be on an international meet. So otherwise, every country's nationals, you could kind of see
T's and C's. Hey?
So many T's and C's, bro. And then, so we were like, you know what? If we're gonna send a statement, right, before Worlds, we know we're going. If we're gonna send a statement, let's not chip it with 262.5. Let's put 270 on. Yeah. Let's make a statement.
Just smash it out of the water. Mate.
Smash it out of the water. Anyway, she had slightly misgrooved it, unfortunately, but she got it to the knee. And
it's that video.
This is that video where her family is in the crowd.
That's it.
It's a wicked video.
That's cool, man. I was you look like you're at a pure team sporting event.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Like there's a full-blown cheer squad.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, what I'm describing is Nat's coming out for the last deadlift of the meet. It literally closed off the nationals competition. It's obviously an unofficial world record and the biggest deadlift ever by a woman. And and there are hundreds of people in this rec center. And her Samoan family had buckets and were cheering and doing the mahi, and like you could feel the ground shaking. It was wild, but that's what powerlifting is. So weirdly enough, powerlifting is this thing where it doesn't actually matter if you're lifting a world record or if you're just hitting a 25 kilo squat PB. Yeah. Everyone cheers, everyone gets around. It's a really friendly environment, and that's what drew me more to the sport.
You see that a lot, obviously, in this gym. I've never been in a gym where kind of the whole gym stops for a second, turns around, watches one person. So like, obviously my first few weeks here, I'm just in the corner with my little 5 kilo dumbbell. Some guy in the corner is like deadlifting 300 kilos and everyone's turning around watching. And I'm like, I'm thinking there's a fight. I'm like,
someone's about to throw it down.
I might come in with a flying
kick. But the weird thing is, it could be that, or it could just be, like I said, a female, a girl hitting her new squat PB and it's only by 2.5 kilos or something. Like people don't care what the weight is on the bar. People care about you showing some spirit and giving it something.
Yeah, and that is what Strength Club kind of represents. Because you see it all the time. You know, new people, whatever. You run your beginner comps, things like that, and everyone who's experienced is there supporting the new people.
Yeah, 100%.
obviously amazing for them to gain confidence because you've got the guys who've done it for 2-3 years, whatever it is, 5-10, and they're there cheering you on as a beginner. Like, that's got to make you feel good about what you're doing.
Man, comps are weird. Like, if you come to a comp and you see it, you just start cheering for people you don't even know because they're grinding something up. I don't even know what compels people to start doing it. But there'll be like a nonna in the corner, bro, and she'll be shouting the loudest at this random person she doesn't know.
Have you had any pass outs? Like, have you had?
Unfortunately, yes.
Is it weird to watch? Like, just someone.
It's pretty scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Normally it's deadlift, and normally it depends on, in Perth it can get quite hot in the summer. So if it's a hot day, someone's dehydrated, like any sport really, people push themselves a little bit too hard. So I've seen two. One with a guy at the top of a deadlift, and he is 120 kilos, and it shook the room. Like, he just went bang straight back. Yeah, he woke up straight away. Like, he was fine, luckily.
It's funny because he's alright.
Yeah, and the other thing is, the worry is that, someone may hit their head.
Yeah, it's the weight too that they hate.
Yeah, generally we have spotters around to make sure that they can kind of make sure they don't hit their head, but yeah, the other time was a young boy who picked up a deadlift, put it down, was still like crouched over, and then just kind of like roly-polied onto his side.
Oh, it was like delayed.
Yeah, it was like a delayed one. He like rolled his side, and while he was rolling on his side, he was talking. It was hilarious, to be honest. It was pretty funny. He's like, I'm passing out.
Oh, he's talking you through it.
Yeah, we know you're passing out. He's like, I'm passing out. I'm good, actually. He like came to. It was pretty funny.
That's elite.
Yeah.
So what is the next move for Strength Club? You've got your one facility here in Perth.
World domination.
Just take over.
Just Strength Club Mars.
But man, this place is getting full. Like,
it's full, man.
Like at night, and that, like, obviously the vibe's killer. Everyone's helping everyone, but what's the next move?
We've spoken about this a bit. Obviously, after setting the gym up and me and Dee busting our asses for the last 18 months, we really just want to go on a holiday.
For sure, yeah.
So when we go over to Worlds, we'll be having a little bit of a Euro trip.
And tanning oil and Malta there.
Yeah, bro, look at me, of course.
Yeah. And I'm coming across on the dinghy.
Oh, bro, I can't wait. Sicily's right there, man. I really got to try and see if I can get over there. But I think after our holiday, we'll be having a review of Osborne Park where we are, and possibly going bigger. As you know, as you can see, we've got 330 square meters here. We need double.
Yeah.
So 600 or 700 would probably be ideal, but I would never want to go bigger than that.
Yeah.
The thing I love about SC is its quirky smallness, is the fact that you can walk in and kind of see someone else training with you. You can say hi to them.
That.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you go to that good little Chinese restaurant and they're unbelievable, and you just keep going back and back, and then they expand into a chain, and then all the chefs are gone because they're spread out amongst the rest, and you're just like, this isn't the same anymore.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be like you said, you can be sitting on a machine and you can still see the PBs occurring.
Yeah.
I still want to have that, because that brings a bit of joy to your day well. And it's like, if we just start going bigger, and we end up like Revo size, 1,200 to 2,000 square meters, we've lost touch with what we are as a small community gym.
Yeah. And then at that point, you don't know the people anymore.
Exactly.
You know the people that are running the people that are, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a good thing as well. Is like, you and Dee are always here. The boys now as trainers, they're always here.
Yeah.
Like, name to a face. Like, there's always someone around that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Which is good. Bigger you go, the more you spread out. Obviously, I'm not sure that becomes the case anymore. So yeah.
I think the goal at the moment with the plan we've got is that we'd make Osborne Park that comfortable 600, have showers, change rooms, have a big office, more space for machines for the current members. Would Osborne Park get to a point one day where maybe the memberships are capped? Potentially.
Yeah.
That potentially could happen. I don't know what that number is, and I don't know what that will look like, but if that's the case, it just becomes a premium powerlifting and strength gym, and I think that's kind of what it will be. We have people come here that want to train, and that's what we want. We want people that want to train, that want to have fun, that want to banter. We don't, like I said, we don't want these memberships that we never see these people. The other option, or the other goal, would be to do south. So start with something very similar size, likely in probably like Myrie or something like that, and
somewhere by the beach, eh?
Yeah. Something Strength Club South. We could say maybe from there, Strength Club High North or something like Joondalup, but Strength Club South would be the next one. And we have a lot of South clients that come up and visit us, so it'd be nice to give them a bit more of a home as well.
Yeah, they can't. I'm assuming at the moment you've got people travelling from kind of all over the place to come here now that obviously for the coaching, and then they probably take the coaching, like you write their program, whatever it is, and they can take that, whether it's close to home. But in terms of what they need, most of it's here, is it? Like there's not too many powerlifting specialised gyms within Perth at the moment,
Not
is there?
many. It's not even the powerlifting, it's having like the proper strength equipment.
Yeah.
Like you go into these commercial gyms and the bars bend a lot, or the racks are not designed well to handle heavier weights and stuff like that. So right now we have a young client who's actually getting ready for Junior Worlds next year, and she trains in her backyard with a power cage and a bar with her dad, because every local gym in the area, they're in Rockingham, just doesn't have the suitable equipment for them.
Yeah.
So they drive up here every Saturday. So they literally drive from Rocco to Osborne Park just to get some coaching from us. And
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's cool.
It's cool, like know that people are willing to do that for your service you provide.
Yeah,
So,
the other big market for us right now is online, which is building. So we have clients from all over WA, we have clients interstate, and we have clients now internationally as well, which is pretty cool. I have a lot of New Zealand clients, weirdly enough.
because they're strong as fuck.
They're
man.
so strong, bro. I want those people. So
Yeah, for sure. Man, big
online is
rugby
another
legs.
market. Yeah, and now that we've got the extra team on board, extra coaches, we'll be able to handle the load that's coming our way.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
I just want to know as well, before we go, quickly, what has D got planned for the Strength Club Christmas party this year? Because every year they're getting bigger, crazier.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hey.
Yeah.
If anyone knows Strength Club, we
They're
we
intense,
work
man.
hard in the gym, we play hard as well. So
For sure.
yeah.
What's the movements this year?
This year we're doing a toga party. We're doing a
all
toga
here?
at Strength Club. Yeah,
Wow.
toga party. There's a food truck. I think it's a Greek food truck. There's going to be loud music. There's
Support
going to
your
be
own,
games. There's going to be beer pong. You know how we do. Yeah, that's going to be wild. Awards night as well. The awards night's always good.
Uzo shot on entry.
Oh, I think you have to, don't you?
Yeah. Look,
You have to.
D, she's got her phone in one hand, Uzo ball in the other hand usually, and
Yeah.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it personally.
I think the one thing about Strength Club is, whether this is a gift or a curse, being a smaller gym, you invite people like yourself. You know,
That's it. Like really, myself, Josh, Cos, we probably shouldn't be copping invites anymore, but
but you know,
we bring something.
you bring something. But it's you guys aren't the you unfortunately aren't the 1%, because this whole gym is literally like that. They want to work hard, they want to play hard, they want to party with their friends, and that's really cool to see. You know, you don't get that at a commercial gym.
Well, I reckon we should change the PB board on that night to a shot board or a
shot board.
drinks board. You know, like let's really test some
Beer
people,
pong
man.
winners and all that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's set some records, like
Yeah.
ones that I'm actually able to set, because I struggle to compete.
What
man.
happens if Nat beats you at beer pong as well?
She probably will.
She got those long arms,
okay,
man. She
like-
probably can.
Yeah, that's right. No, she should be on my team. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Random teams will rig it.
So yeah, man, that's what's to go with Strength Club at the moment. Exciting times. Very exciting times.
No, definitely. Well, I appreciate you coming on the first official
Unofficial.
Casa podcast.
Mi Casa
And,
podcast.
Look, who even knows if it was recording? I'll probably set that
Probably
up.
not.
Probably just got copper whistling in the microphone before as a test. But I appreciate it, mate.
Nah,
and
thanks, Marco.
all the best for the next year with the gym. And yeah, bigger and better things to come.
Thanks, man. Thanks
Thanks,
for having
mate.
me on.